Chewbacca chainsaw. And notice I just said the Chewbacca chainsaw because nobody's getting a good award. And this is going to be a Chewbacca should chainsaw. And you heard about it a little bit in our intro. And I think Chewbacca should chainsaw Jameis Winston this week. He has probably cost himself about $20 million in draft, just NFL money, because he has recently he's under investigation by FSU, his Florida State University, for possibly getting paid to sign memorabilia. Because recently, now the number that first came out was about 900 items showed up on this authenticating website to be authenticated, and they were authentic. And that kind of sent out some red flags. It's like, who just suddenly has 900 items to be authenticated all at once? It's not very, very common at all, because every now and then, and I had some weird window pop-up, sorry. Every now and then you will get the college players, stay behind practice, maybe sign a couple things here and there. And so you'd have a couple, maybe 100, maybe 200 if you're a really popular player, pop up at any given time. Now he has 900. Now that number has since skyrocketed to about 2,000 today. So, something fishy's going on there.
He's very dedicated.
Yeah, and one of the big red flags that came out today was that a lot of the merchandise was in sequential order. So it was like helmet number 1, helmet number 2 through 500 he signed. And yeah, it's kind of rare to get a random group of 500 people just to somehow have the 500 in a row numbers. Usually that means you sat down and you signed a whole bunch in a row. And that's also what this one guy was saying, that all the signatures were in about the same place. They were about the same. And if you're sitting there, signing for fans, you're just kind of quickly just signing anywhere, talking to people, not paying attention. And it doesn't look good right now. Now, Florida State recently dropped from number 1 to number 2, not because they lost a game, just because their strength of schedule is not so great. But, they're saying that Winston's still going to play, which is kind of interesting, seeing as how they suspended him for jumping up and cursing on tables, and yet when he's under serious investigation, it seems like, for probably getting paid. I mean, I don't know who, out of the goodness of their heart.
Is this against the NCAA rules to get paid for merchandise?
Yes, to get paid at period is against NCAA rules. So if somebody says, a memorabilia broker says, hey, Jameis, why don't you sit down? We'll pay you a couple $1,000s. You sign a whole bunch of things, and we'll sell them. That's that goes into that territory we've talked about before of the NCAA rules against getting paid for playing the sport in any way other than scholarship sometimes is a little bit ridiculous. Like, they're trying to block the players from getting the money from EA. Right, it's like I agree. I think that they should have more compensation than they get because they do bring in a lot of money.
At least this is
blatantly against the rules right now. This is blatantly against the rules.
It's stupid to break the rules at this point.
Yes, and the big reason he's getting the Chewbacca should chainsaw is because, like I mentioned, he's going to lose a lot of money. Most people's draft boards, I'm going to go with Mel Kiper's as the kind of, the flagship draft board. He had him dropping from number 3 to number 25. I've seen places where he's dropped out of the top 25 into the second round, and your guaranteed money from dropping from 3 to 25 is about $20 million or so. So yeah, you've just cost yourself $20 million. I don't know that they didn't pay you $20 million for all your signatures, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
Not yet. Maybe if he keeps going, he can make up the money.
I mean, but think about like the hand cramps and what would that do to his throwing hand if he had to sign that many things? Carpal tunnel? Huh?
Which also though might make you think maybe he didn't do, because when we're talking about 2,000, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah, and you think he would have done that not to get paid?
This is not a forgery?
No, they were authentic. They were authenticated.
They
were official. It'd be a pretty darn good forger, but yeah.
Maybe he gave his signature over, and they scanned it, and they have a computer that just does it exactly off of the scan that he gives.
Okay, barring something that's never happened before.
I got the text there.
Yeah, the tech's there, but again, barring something that's never happened before, yeah, he's pretty stupid. Now, this isn't the first time we've heard of stupid stuff out of Jameis Winston. Like I said, we did a story on him jumping on a table and yelling out some profanities in the middle of the student union, which got him suspended for the Clemson game. Also, last year, he got caught shoplifting crab legs, if you remember that one.
Oh,
He
yeah, I
stuffed
remember.
crab
So
leg down his pants.
wait. Both those things were him, so now he's on a third strike here?
No, he's on his fourth strike if this becomes true, because his biggest and most serious allegation was a sexual assault allegation last
Why
year.
is he still playing?
Because the sexual assault allegation was dropped because
Okay.
there was not substantial evidence to move forward. So, again, that's why I call it an
All
allegation.
right, so
But
what we're saying is clearly upstanding guy or victim of conspiracies.
yeah, it'd have to be one of the two. Well,
Clearly
no, wait, hold on. No.
upstanding guy or
Upstanding
victim.
guy who is a victim of conspiracies, or just a big dummy. I'm gonna lean towards the big dummy, because two maybe he's just a kid, he's being stupid, it happened.
Wouldn't that be crazy though if he
We're
was
on
the victim
4.
of a giant conspiracy?
That would be very interesting. Someone's like, I'm gonna not let that kid be a pro. Like,
Let's do everything we can. Let's find every possible thing for him to break a rule about.
it would be pretty crazy. And now the other thing that kind of is funny to me, you have a team like Florida State letting Jameis Winston go out and play, because, say what you will, even with all these allegations, he does not let that affect him on the field of play. He goes out there every week and plays at his Heisman winning level. But then you have another player, Todd Gurley, which is a very unfortunate name for a football player. Gurley.
Yeah.
And most people said he was actually the front runner for the Heisman this year. He's the running back out of Georgia who's been just spectacular. He got suspended indefinitely by Georgia while they're investigating similar allegations. So it's also funny that you see where Florida State doesn't need Jameis Winston as much because they're playing in a lot softer ACC. The SEC Georgia team is like, nope, we're going to get rid of him. We're not going to stand for that. And they need him a lot more in that conference than, because really the SEC is the NFL light, as I like to call it. But that's funny. But Florida State will be playing number 5 Notre Dame this weekend, so that'll be a big game. And I'm sure more will come out of this before the weekend, because, like I said, earlier this week it was 900 signatures. That jumped up to 2,000 today. What's it going to be tomorrow? Who knows? So, I don't know. Let us know what you guys think. Hit us up, comments down below. Of course, at What's My Face on Twitter, What's My Face at gmail.com, Google Plus and Facebook. Always good ways of getting a hold of us. Is he being conspiracized against? Is that a word? Conspiracized? It is now. Is there a giant conspiracy against Jameis Winston, or is he just a big knucklehead? Let us know.